The Vancouver Art Gallery just opened a new show with its biggest bash since pre-pandemic times. A big statement for an ambitious show. It's called Fashion Fictions and explores culture, science, and technology through the lens of fashion and design. Himikalas Pam Baker has a piece in the show, and Amber-Dawn Bear Robe is a contributing curator. Hello to both of you.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. Now, I love what you're wearing. Tell me about it.
Thank you. It's one of my pieces from my ready-to-wear collection. It represents my mother's side of the family, Muskamatzawadeno Kwakwakwewak, where we, in our potlatches, we have button blankets, button robes, some people call it. This one represents my great-grandmother's, or my grandmother's button blanket design.
Love the sparkle.
Thank you. I am wearing a vintage Pamela Baker jacket, circa 2012, and I might just have to walk away with it today.
It's lovely. It looks heavy.
Oh no, it's very light, and it feels really good on the body, and it just adds the pizzazz and the jazz with all the sequins.
How long have you been designing?
33 years, about 33 years.
And what is it that are the main elements of your fashion?
Everything I design comes from my father's side, who's Coast Salish, like the coat. I found the fabric. It represents the basket weaving of my grannies, great-grandmothers, and ancestors. My mother is from the Kwakwakwewak. I continually get inspiration from our traditions and culture, and my great-great-grandmother was Tlingit, who wove several Chilkat blankets, and I go crazy about doing a Chilkat Elements collection. I continue to build onto it.
Now, I know you have another fashion to share with us. We have a model. If we can have Gina come out and show us this. And Pamela, tell us about this.
My last collection I showcased in Santa Fe at Swaya was called Contemporary Animal Kingdom. So this dress represents the animal kingdom treasures of my family. The top part represents the copper, and then we move into the birds. We've got raven, then we move into the four-legged, we move into the wolves, and then we move into the water, the killer whales, the traditional whales. So it's a mixture of the Salish and my Kwagyoth in regards to the artwork.
Amber, why did you choose Pam's work for the show?
For many reasons, but specifically, I consider her a matriarch of Indigenous fashion, and she also represents Indigenous designers from this region. And her stunning finale piece last year at the Swaya Santa Fe Indigenous Fashion Week, the whale transformation, just really embodies some of the thematics of this exhibition, Fashion Fictions, and I'm just so honored to be working with her.
Tell me about the other works that are in the show.
The previous show, it was mainly, I represented the wolf. My mother's tribe or nation, they believe we transformed from the wolf. I also did a piece that was showcasing my mom, representing a transformation mask, where the model came out and she was showing the raven, and then she opened up and the wolf was on the wings, and then there was my mom's portrait. So that dress was for me. It wasn't like for sale or anything like that. It was just the finale of that show. So each piece, as a First Nations designer, every piece has a story. I don't grab other First Nations art. I basically use what I am allowed to use in my both tribes, nations.
The Fashion Fictions piece, what have you displayed there?
It's the killer whale. It's a transformation killer whale that represents Eatmus, who opens up our potlatches and clears the floor so that there's good energy, making sure that the floor is cleansed and then the people are all in place. So that's why I opened the show with the Eatmus. And this is a transformation dress. It comes out as a killer whale, and then it drops into a cape, and then the tail drops into the tail of the killer whale.
And I'm wondering, when someone comes into the exhibition, what's the overall impact?
Well, it's going to be different for each individual who goes into the show, but for me, walking in, the impact was, wow, this is amazing. And just looking at all the different interpretations of fashion, the scientific component, the technological component, the innovation, and also just the modern interpretation of story. And specifically for Pamela's garment, the killer whale transformation dress, there is a video that demonstrates how the dress is supposed to move. There actually are some moving dresses in there as well that don't need a video. There is specifically a dress that does move, but yeah, it's just overwhelming, and I actually have to go back to take another look to really absorb everything. It's phenomenally overwhelming.
So technology is an element in the show.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I have to say, Indigenous designers, we've been experimenting with technology since the beginning of time in terms of the technology of pottery making, the technology and the techniques of making a gut skin parka jacket. The technology is absolutely infused with Indigenous design as well.
Then, Pam, that brings me to, how Indigenous fashion fits into North American fashion history.
We've been doing it forever, and now we are finally, I share with a lot of our young people who are starting to design that this is the time right now that we're getting recognition on the world platform. We're starting to see our designers, young people, designing beautiful pieces, and they're being showcased at different parts of the world now. So it's quite exciting, and it's our time. I'd say the last 2 years, the doors have opened a little more for our designers and myself, so it's great to get a lot of recognition now.
And why is representation so important?
Well, representation is important for every culture, for every person, and representation also becomes something as a mentorship. When you see yourself being represented in different mediums or in different platforms across Canada and the United States, it then has something that you can connect to and then possibly follow up with or be inspired by. It really depends, but representation, of course, is really important for everybody. And can I just say, Indigenous fashion, just following up on what Pam was saying, it may have, people are paying a little bit more attention now, but I have to say, Indigenous designers, we've been fashioning, and we are the original couturiers of North America. It's just been framed as anthropological clothing rather than fashion.
And just briefly give me the when and where of the show.
The show is at the Vancouver Art Gallery, and it's open now, May till October of 2023.
So lots of time to come and see these wonderful fashions.
Lots of time to come and see the fashion, and to also see Pamela Baker and other designers in Santa Fe for our annual Indigenous Fashion Show.
Well, thank you so much to both of you for coming in and bringing these great fashions.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.